Utah, more like Bootah.
Live from the Toyota Lounge, welcome into the DNVR Avalanche Pregame Show. I'm Justin Michael, aka J-Mike. We've got Rudo here. We're setting the scene for the home opener. How's it going, man? And I'm stoked to be here.
It's good. This season is underway now, and it's the best thing ever. It feels like it's been 8 years, and I'm just ready to get everything rolling. I know we had game one already, but first home game, I'm just excited.
Have you recovered yet? I mean, you don't sleep anyways, yeah. But with that game, I feel like I'm still trying to catch up on the caffeine.
Yeah, my sleep schedule's so bad anyway. That's like peak Rudo times. Ask me after Monday when we have the 10:30 a.m. game how I'm doing. That one's going to be a struggle for me.
The Colorado sports schedule right now is just throwing everybody for a loop. Up late last night, got the Broncos playing in London on Sunday, 7:30 a.m. I got late night college football tomorrow. I'm all over the place.
Which, by the way, the bar will be open for.
Bar will be open. Come on down. You should come on down tonight, actually, if you have time. Giving away a pair of tickets to the game on Saturday against Dallas, as well as a parking pass. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But we've got a lot to get into. Kind of starting here with the star power. It was a nice little debut, I felt, for that Avs top line.
It was. Obviously, the 2 goals for Marty, but Kale looked great. MacKinnon picks up a couple of points as well. They are necessary for the Colorado Avalanche, obviously, to be a successful hockey team. But you really look at the Avs as a team that 30 other teams don't have the star power that they have. Mm-hmm. Maybe Edmonton with McDavid and Draisaitl, you can say, can go shot for shot. Not that other teams don't have great players, but you're talking about 2 of the top 5 players on the planet play for the Colorado Avalanche. And then they have a good cavalcade of, we don't have to nitpick and get into what really truly defines a star player necessarily, but the Avs top 6 is, Butcher Gross the other day called it the best top 6 in the NHL, and I don't think he's wrong. They have enough talent where the expectation is they should be the favorites pretty much every night.
I just feel like the team last year, you saw flashes of it, but there was so much that happened over the course of the season that I'm just not sure they ever fully hit their stride. I think they came close. Certainly had the missed opportunities in that Dallas series. Yeah. But, I mean, if you get a full season of an impactful Gabe Landeskog, if Brock Nelson can make a leap, which I know is something you and AJ have touched on, and to me, it feels like both he and Netchis have really only kind of scratched the surface of what they could be in this lineup, and that's what makes this team so scary is, I mean, there might be a world where this team takes it up to another level, and we haven't even seen how good they really can be yet.
Yeah. It's funny. In game 1, they won the game 4-1. Had no issues putting the puck in the back of the net, but it's not like they were the super
crispest,
powerful. Yeah. They didn't have 45 shots on goal and were pumping the other team. They just executed well on the plays they have. So you get it against a team like Utah tonight, and you might see a little bit more opportunity for them to open it up. Utah always seems to be a pesky team that hangs with the Avs pretty well, so I don't know that will happen, but at some point early in the season, they're going to turn the Jets up to 100%, and somebody's going to get blown out.
Let me ask you this, and then maybe it's, Utah tonight that ends up getting blown out. Hockey, anything can happen, but does Utah, in your estimation, have enough firepower to keep up with this Avalanche squad?
They certainly shouldn't on paper. Clayton Keller's great. Don't get me wrong. He had 90 points last year. That dude is a legit star that I think gets underrated in this league, but he's their best player by a lot.
Yeah.
And you're having a conversation of if he played for the Avs, would he even be on their top line? And the answer is by production, probably. But the way the Avs like to run their top line, they want a Lehkonen do the hard work type guy there.
Yeah.
And then it falls off of a cliff after that. Their next best player is probably, at least forward, is probably Logan Cooley, who's young. There's upside there. Great. But today, he's their 1C and probably would be the Avs 3C. You're probably ranking Brock Nelson ahead of him today. And that's just a lack of high-end talent on the team. Not that those players aren't good. Again, I don't want to knock them, but they are just not even in the same room as the Colorado Avalanche are. Most teams have at least a guy in the same room. Minnesota has Kaprizov. Even a team like Columbus, who maybe you don't feel is that good, has someone like Werenski where you can say, okay, they have a competitive superstar, even if it's not Cale Makar levels. I really don't think that Utah has that. I know they went out and got Pederka, who's another good player, but he's not in that upper echelon of players either. So they really do lack, or rather, I should say, the Avs really have the advantage over Utah in the high-end talent category. And yet somehow Utah always finds a way to play them close and work hard and keep it a game. So
first off, it's going to take me a while. I'm probably going to call them the Phoenix Coyotes
I know,
at some point.
I still want to call them the Coyotes every time.
I feel like there's bad vibes with that stolen team. Like
a little bad karma.
I kind of want to start some beef with Utah on the behalf of our brethren over at PHNX. Like I feel like I owe them that. I owe throwing a little shade Utah's way. I do want to touch on something you just said though, because it was something that I put down in my notes the other night at home. Just kind of trying to find some takeaways for this. And not only is the star power for this Avs team unreal, but it's so perfectly constructed. You bring up a guy like Lehkonen, who's just so perfectly suited to play off of the chaos that guys like Nate, and then you see it the other night with, Cale on the strong drive, toast the guy, incredible play. And he's just right there to, chip it in. Not all these guys, even if they're an elite goal scorer, can skate with a guy like Nathan MacKinnon. And the way that they have been able to find guys that just fit so perfectly, honestly, it feels very Nuggets-ish of like, let's just find guys that we can surround, in the Jokic, universe and let them feast off of it. And let's not get too complicated here.
Yeah, it's the Avs over the last really 6-7 years, but especially since COVID, have really keyed in on who they are as a program. They understand what a Colorado Avalanche player looks like and what they do effectively on the ice. You mentioned the skating. Borderline a necessity to be in the Avs top 6. In the case of Lehkonen, actually not that great of a skater, but he understands how to play fast.
The position, he's always in the right spot.
Exactly. And honestly, the Avs have done such a good job of it that, yes, they fit together very well, but they're super flexible. If you want to move Lehkonen down and put Nichushkin on the top line, you can. If you want to move up a Ross Colton, I wouldn't do it long term, but if you need him to pinch hit your top 6, you can. They have the ability to move these players around, in large part, I think, because of their anchors down the middle. MacKinnon is obviously the 1C. Nelson finally feels like they have someone reliable in the 2C spot. He still has to go out and earn that this year, of course, but it's a lot more comfortable there. And then even with Jack Drury trying to move up to 3C, you have guys that you know what you're going to get out of on a night-to-night basis, and then you can build your wings around that.
I do like that they're malleable like that they have some flexibility. You don't just lose all of your cohesiveness when one or two guys get shifted around. And that hasn't always been the case. Even, back in the glory years when you had a ton of talent like this team does, it's just impressive to me to see all of this coming together. Some of that has to do with some fortune in the fact that, knock on wood, fingers crossed, you've got Nichushkin right now in a good place. You've got Landeskog back, a year and a half ago. If I was sitting here with you, we probably would not be having this same conversation, but it is exciting. And I think that's so much of why there's so much optimism for this team this year. As this roster is constructed, you've got the goalie situation solved, got an incredible decor. Like we sit here and talk about the top 6 all day long. And then, you can make an argument that they have maybe not the best, but up there, they're the best defensive pairing as well.
Yeah, this is a team that I think pretty definitively this is the best they've been constructed since 2022. Not that they weren't good teams, but put together on opening day This is the best they've been by a decent margin. Some of that has to do with injury trouble and all that, like you mentioned, but there's a depth to this team that I think the organization has lacked. We already talked about the 2C spot. That's part of it. But also, today, in the Avs lineup, there are no minor league guys. Mm-hmm. There are no guys that are just filling holes. Every single dude on the Avs lineup deserves to be in the NHL tonight. And even Gavin Brindley, in my opinion, I think he's earned the spot. And I hope
he had a good enough camp.
Yeah, I agree. But some people are going to say, oh, well, yeah, he should be replaced by LOC. He will be when LOC gets healthy. But that's what I mean by depth, is the guy replacing your injured guy is still a guy who you feel like deserves to be here instead of the 43rd player on the Colorado Eagles who we need a warm body, so somebody get out there, please.
Shout out our Eagles fans, though. I'm a NoCo guy.
Let's go.
Shout out all of my NoCo family up there.
They start tomorrow night, so.
I'm going to get in there for a couple of games. Let me ask you this. How far can these Stars carry the Avalanche? I mean, obviously the goal is the Stanley Cup, but assuming there's going to be, some shuffling, some injuries at some point, you're going to have some movement. How much can they, kind of like they did the other night, even when they don't necessarily have their A game? Yeah, it doesn't matter. We've got the best star power in the world, and they pulled out 3 goals. How many wins a year is that good for, do you think?
47. They can make the playoffs almost entirely by getting carried.
That's crazy.
That's how good their top players are. I'm not worried about them making the playoffs. And I don't think anyone should be, barring catastrophe. Honestly, even with catastrophe, they didn't have problems last year making the playoffs. The difference is, can they lead their division? Can they compete for a President's Trophy? Mm-hmm. How much home ice can they earn in those playoff series? And then, of course, the playoffs themselves are a different animal. But, yeah, I don't think you really go into any night being worried that, we absolutely need player X to have a pop-off night. Because if Marty Necas has an off night, you got Nathan MacKinnon. Oh, your top line's not playing well? That's fine. Gabe Landeskog can go pop off. Oh, Cale Makar's on the back end and he's having a bad night. Well, Brent Burns can play a little bit of offense for you. They have enough secondary options that their Stars, and funnily enough, probably the least important they've been in years, to have their Stars be good, and we might be about to see the best year of some of these Stars' careers. So, to use the word Stars too many times, it feels like the Stars might be aligning in that for the Avalanche.
What is your gut? And it's early. We've only seen them play 1 game. Yep. But you spent some time around them in person in camp.
Yep.
I covered the whole playoff run. Obviously, I'm in the building for that Game 7 loss. The silence in the locker room post game is still eerie. When I think about it, it gives me goosebumps, and not in the good way. It was heartbreaking. The faces of guys like EJ and Landy, and Nate was very disgruntled that night. And I know he kind of let us know how he really felt, said some stuff maybe shouldn't have even.
Typical Nate.
But Bednar has been pretty open about how he likes where this team is at mentality-wise going into the year. Again, it's early. We're not trying to write the story now, but was that the gut that you get? Does this feel like a team that, I don't know, is playing with a chip on their shoulder?
Yeah, I think it even goes beyond. Obviously, the loss has direct impact on this, but I think it goes beyond that. And Landeskog has been quoted saying this a couple of times leading up to the year. This team is hungry, and hungrier than they've been in a long time. And you can feel it the way they go about their business, that this is not a, hey, we know we're good and we're not worried about it. This is we're going to go eat whoever's in front of us for breakfast every single day, and we want to put that work in hard. And I do think Landeskog plays a really important role in that, because the Avs are always hungry. Nathan MacKinnon is a borderline sociopath in his will to win. He will block out everything else in his mind. But Colorado as a team has often ridden that emotional roller coaster a little bit too much, and getting a guy like Landeskog as the captain back into the locker room on a nightly basis brings a little bit more of that steady where, they're hungry, but they're focusing it in the right direction.
Well, you need the guy that can come build them back up after Nate gets into their ass.
Right,
which
exactly right.
You need the accountability too. part of that intensity is what has given the Avs the potential to be in the mix year after year. But I do think that's an important piece of having the captain and having that steady presence. And look, you know he's got to do that. You know he's got to he's got to yell at you.
Yeah.
You know I've been shoot out. You've been shoot out. It's all good.
It's Nathan MacKinnon. What are you gonna do?
Let's get back to business here. You know, like it's all good.
Yes. He's even done it to Jared Bednar. So
that's incredible. Let me ask you this. And I don't want to derail us too much because this is potentially a tangent, but
I love
how
tangents.
key is it to you to secure that 1 seed and have a potential Game 7 on home ice? I know some of the Game 7s on home ice haven't gone their way over the years either, but just in principle, I don't know, man. I was in the building in Dallas, and it's not a fun place to be in, especially when the game starts to turn.
I care less about this than most people. I do. I don't think home ice is that important. I will say, one, part of the reason I don't think it's that important for the Avalanche is because Jared Bednar likes best on best anyway. He's not going to be like, oh, I got home ice, I'll find this perfect matchup that'll make us win. No, he's just going to say, MacKinnon, go be better than their better players. So I don't think it matters that much in that regard. For Colorado specifically, though, look, you have a Game 7 in altitude. If that team's breathing a little bit heavier, maybe that helps you a little bit. My real answer to this question is where I think it helps the Avs is if you're playing for that 1 seed and you lock up a home ice advantage or a guaranteed playoff spot or whatever you want to call it with 10 games left in the season, okay, Nathan MacKinnon can go 80% for a couple of games down the stretch, and you can come into that playoff series not exhausted from a 2-month playoff push, not desperate to manage your minutes as much as possible. You get a little bit more freedom as a team to do what you want down the stretch and be ready to go.
That's a good point that I didn't factor into it. It's not necessarily just about the direct implication of having home ice for Game 7, but if you are good enough to be that 1 seed, then theoretically you've played really good and probably in a good position going into the playoffs. I mean, not playing quite as many stressful minutes too, and those couple of games leading up to the postseason. Utah, I don't think is a team that's going to be in that conversation with Colorado, with Dallas.
Utah's trying to be a bubble team for sure. They're not going to compete for the top of the division.
Do you think the Avs this year are good enough to overcome a team like Utah when the puck starts bouncing weird? When with so much focus on puck luck, like you've got that in your notes. Where do you want to take that?
Yeah, that's. I bring that up against Utah because for whatever reason, Utah is the luckiest team in the NHL against the Colorado
They're the horseshoe
Avalanche.
team.
Yeah, it's up their butt for sure against Colorado. I don't know why they just seem to get every bounce, but this is a thing that what separates a really good from a great team in my mind in the NHL is the teams that can overcome bad luck, because it's just reality of the NHL. It is the most, if you don't like the word luck, the most things out of your control happen in the NHL, the big four sports, by a long shot. There are just weird bounces. Puck is shaped weird. Ice is a weird surface to play a sport on. So weird things are going to happen. And most teams, when they get the good luck, they can win. Every team loses 20 games a year because bounces happen. But the best teams in the NHL, weird stuff happens, and not only do they find a way to overcome it, they find a way to dominate teams in a way where you're never going to prevent every bounce, but when you're playing the right way, you're going to set yourself up to have more success than your opponents. And even when it goes against you, you should be able to overcome that. Am I beating around the answer to this question? Maybe, because my answer is we're going to find out if the Avs can overcome
it is game
that or
2
not.
after all.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to believe that they can, but they do still have to go prove it.
I don't want to be the guy that constantly goes to other sports, and it's hard for me because I do cover football and basketball full time. So I'm thinking about a lot of different stuff at all times. But
That's why we love you.
It comes back to kind of being like good football teams. They can overcome a penalty or two.
Yeah.
They might throw an interception. They might have a bad bounce, a fumble. But guess what? We're gonna make it back in the third quarter.
Yep.
Teams like our alma mater, actually, I'm used to saying our alma mater up north, CSU, one ball bounces the wrong way and they
there,
crumble.
So I don't know if
I
that
think
counts.
you still get to call yourself an alum, whether
right,
you
I'll take
graduated
it.
or not.
I'll take
and
it.
It's not like I was an elite student at old Harvard up there by any means. Like, we're not getting pretentious. But yeah, man, like I cover a program that is, for lack of a better term, I don't want to say soft, but like they just don't have the ability to overcome.
Yeah.
And I want to see some resilience from this squad this year. And I'd kind of like to see them tested early on. Like if you're going to deal with some nonsense, let's do it now in October and November and not in March.
It circles around to that emotional stability we were talking about, right? When things don't go your way, you can't just implode. You have to be able to keep on the even keel and push back against whatever happens because, yeah, you'd love to fight every game on an even footing, but some nights you're going to start in the hole, and you have to be able to win anyway.
The Avs were awesome at home last year.
They were.
Especially in the second half. Like, they think it kind of started right before Christmas.
Yeah, the goalies came in and things got better.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's kind of, all of a sudden they start being more competitive. Can they be better? Because, I mean, they had 67 point percentage at home last year. That's a pretty decent mark.
I think they can actually be better. Not that that isn't really good, but I do think as an organization, their objective is to make Ball Arena one of the hardest places for people to come into and play against them. And I think it's not some massive improvement, but 700 is their objective. That or better to play on home ice and get those points. And they really have no reason that they can't do it because the building is great. The fans here are always great. They're always into it, especially if the Avs are playing well. That building is maybe the funnest building in Colorado to go into. I know all the football fans will fight me, but that's fine.
Playoff hockey is tough to beat. Even like a great, and I've been to everything, man. I've been to playoff baseball. I've been to NCAA tournaments. I've been to AFC championships. Being in the building for that Gabe Landeskog return last year, like
electric,
it was surreal.
So I do think they can improve on it. I'm not going to say they have to, but it would be nice. It's just easier in a season where their schedule is actually pretty favorable. They have some pretty decent homestands this year. Their road trips aren't too crazy. It just makes your life a lot easier, especially in an Olympic year where you're going to get back from that Olympic break. You're going to go on a road trip and you're going to be exhausted. You're going to have a hard time. You're going to have not slept in your own bed in a while. So taking advantage of those home ice opportunities are just that little bit more important this season.
Kind of off of that, an area they could afford to improve this year is within the division.
Yeah. Yeah, they were just okay in division last
12,
year.
12, and 2.
Yep. That's for the Avs, that's not very good. Like, realistically, they should be significantly better against their division this year.
I know you don't have it in front of you, but how many of those, just off your, going off the dome here, would have been pre-goalie acquisitions?
Yeah, it's like
half.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a little less than half, but that definitely had a significant impact on it. So a big reason why expectations are higher to be better against their division this year.
They also dropped some dumb ones, though, like the road game at Chicago and some stuff like that.
Yep.
Like, that's the stuff a game like tonight, like, those are the types of losses I would like to see the squad avoid this year.
And you're talking about squeezing out a couple extra points to be in first in the division to get that home ice advantage or whatever it may be. Those divisional games are 4-point games. They're that much more important when it comes to those things. The Avs have just spent too much time over the last handful of years making their lives harder than it has to be. Just don't make your life harder this year. That's all. That's all I'm asking.
Just do the things that set you up for success.
Exactly.
Win. Simple stuff. Just win, baby.
Just win, baby.
Is it really that complicated, guys?
Nah.
Do we want to cue up the press conference here? The clip from Jared Bednar.
Let's hear from Jared and his thoughts going into the home opener.
All right, questions for Jared. Go ahead.
Coach, how exciting is it to get, got the first one out of the way, now get to, do the first ones here in front of the fans?
Yeah, well, I mean, the home opener is always fun, right? First time to come out and show our fans what we got, so it's an exciting day. Yeah, I like it. We get one out of the way on the road. Pretty good hockey game from us. Lots of things we can build on from that game, but a lot of things that we liked. And Yeah, goal is to go out today with the a little bit better energy at the start and sort of sustain that for a full 60 minutes against a good team.
Considering you're still so early in the year, like how much can you change from a game that you win 4-1?
Well, there's some things that we can be better at. Like we kind of waded into the start of that game and took us till probably about the 8-minute mark of the first, 10-minute mark of the first to kind of get up and get going. And we didn't spend a lot of time in O-zone play. We were effective when we were in there at times, but like to control the possession game a little bit more than we did in that one. But the checking aspect of our game, the commitment to defend, especially in the middle of 30 minutes of that game, was really good. And I like the physicality and edge that we played with too. I think it has to be part of our DNA this year. And so really good starting points in a bunch of things. And, I think the execution and getting used to playing under pressure will come, as we get some more games under our belt.
Coach, without much baseline against this team this early in the season, obviously, what are you kind of focused on facing the Mammoth tonight?
Skilled, very skilled team, quick team, really good possession team, in all three zones. They don't make it easy on you on the defensive side because they skate really well, and they can be a handful like offensively. They're a creative group. They don't like to throw the puck away in the offensive zone, so they play with it a lot. And so you're going to get some isolated one-on-ones in the defensive zone. We're going to have to use our skating to our advantage, and we can use our physicality to our advantage. But you got to be comfortable playing in all three zones against these guys with and without the puck.
Devon mentioned that it felt like a feeling out period at the start of the last
Yeah.
game. He said there's probably 8 to 10 games of that just to start the season. How do you kind of game plan for these early games without a lot of tape on what they've been doing, new rosters on the other side?
Most teams, same coach, similar lineup. We look back at how they finished last year. We kind of work off last year's metrics, what they were good at and what they weren't good at. Game planning for them last year, you're kind of using things that you liked and things that you didn't like or that you need to be aware of. And so you're kind of running off last year's video, along with some preseason stuff, but a lot of mixed rosters in preseason. So it's mostly, kind of looking at their group and their tendencies from last year. And if they change things, you just got to be flexible and ready on the fly.
Bailey.
See the hat.
Go ahead, Bailey, then Aaron, get you, sorry.
With such a special teams heavy game like last game was, what is there to take away heading into tonight?
Well, PK got some work at the end of the game, so there's always things to look at. I think both sides of it, I think the MacKinnon unit on the power play did a nice job getting in the zone and getting set up and weren't that dangerous when they got in, but they capitalized on, a real good shooting opportunity off a face-off, and there's some things that they did that we've been talking about in practice. The second unit had trouble getting in, but were highly effective in the time that they did and created some good looks in minimal time. So both those units will, review that and go through that and some things that they can do to be more dangerous. And on the penalty kill side, I thought they did a really nice job 4 versus 5. First time you see a 5-on-3, and there's some adjustments there that can be made. So you're constantly learning, after games, doing reviews, and then also studying what Utah might throw at us tonight. So there's lots to work on this time of year.
All right.
I see the hat. How important is it for this hockey team to capitalize on home ice advantage?
It's been important for us, especially if we're going to get to where we want to get to, like the division and the conference. Those are goals that we have, finishing first and set ourselves up, come playoff time, to try to finish as high as we can and get home ice advantage. And we've been a really good holding team over the years, and I'd like for that to start immediately tonight in front of our crowd.
All right.
All right. Before we get out of here, let's break out our crystal ball. Our pregame picks are presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use the code DNVR365. Deposit $10. Place a bet for $5 to get $300 in bonus bets. Must be 21 and up, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants to help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yep. All right. We got our picks first. MacKinnon goal, I'm taking that at plus money. I just am. I feel good about the Avs Stars like we talked about. The Makar power play point at plus money is back on the table. That was a good bet for us all of last year, even with the Avs power play up and down. So get in on that. And then I'm taking the Avs to win the first period at plus 140. So you got some good betting angles there to go with. Maybe make yourself a little bit of money. Or, if you think I'm an idiot, you can bet on whatever you want at Bet365. You can also jump on that side of it too. J-Mike, give me a score. Give me a name. What do you think the score is? Who you think is scoring for the Avs?
I'm going 3-1 Avs. A little less explosive than the other night, but I'm hoping for a little crisper play. I like that you went with the Makar power play point because I have a feeling he finds the back of the net tonight. So I'm going Cale Makar.
The quest for back-to-back 30-goal seasons starts tonight for Cale Makar.
Best in the world.
You won't hear an argument from me on that front. I'll take the opposite. I'll go 4-3. I kind of like the 3-1 answer, but I feel like pucks just end up in the back of the net with Utah and or the Coyotes.
Set the expectations low. You can only succeed. You can only,
improve from there.
It's like what we used to do in school back in the day.
I'm going with that. Random goal scorer that isn't MacKinnon. Not random. I'll go with Landeskog. Why not? He waited till the game 2 of the playoffs. He's waiting for game 2 of the regular season.
Oh, captain, my captain.
Let's go.
Find the back of the net. That'd be awesome. It'd be awesome to happen in front of the home crowd. They'd go bananas. I'd love to see it happen early, maybe fuel them, throughout the game. Rudo's about to be going live for the watch along. Make sure you guys tune in post game. We'll be breaking down everything that happens tonight. Shout out to our wonderful producer, Tiff, behind the scenes, making all of this happen. See you in a few minutes.
We all silly like the mayor.